All right, good Saturday morning, Utah. Meteorologist Nate Larsen here, Fox 13. Just wanted to do a quick weather update where we're still seeing a little bit of moisture across southern Utah. In fact, actually, let me pull back up the um, kind of the wide view. I was trying to get U.2. If you see it at the bottom of the screen, that's in Monticello. Looks like a lot of the snow's tapered off, but still some wet roads. It's cold out there. We've had light snow across the roadways of the I-15 stretch from roughly, Cove Fort or even Scipio down towards Cedar City. So there's been some impacts on some of the roads there. And then we're still seeing some of the light snow, as you see with Doppler radar moving through portions of the state. Our weather, though, pretty unimpressive when we look at the large scale across the nation. The storm system that's hammering much of the central, mid-Atlantic, and eventually the northeast part of the country. So you can see the heavy snow, the glaze or the ice that's likely falling across some of the deep south, the heavy rains, a lot of travel impacts being seen there with all the moisture moving through. So essentially, that's the same low pressure system that worked its way through the desert southwest, worked its way over Southern California, and then is now scooped up and is interacting with a lot of these tropical moisture coming up from the Gulf of Mexico and the frigid air out of the north uh, coming out of Canada. So you can see that a little more clearly with the upper level flow charts. You kind of see that trough of low pressure tapping into the cold air as well as working with the moist air from the south. Utah kind of caught in between the ridge and the low. We'll see a colder spell tonight, tomorrow, as this northwest flow, if not northerly flow, stays in place into Sunday. And so we're potentially looking at some of the coldest temperatures of the season so far. But even still, this morning it's been very cold across northern Utah. So started to see some of the colder air fill back in across northern valleys. Alta's just 7 degrees right now, for example. Heber's at 23, Colville 17, Bear River's -5. They were -7 earlier this morning. And then typical 20s, 30s across central southern Utah so far. But we're going to stay on the colder side today with that northerly flow in place. You can see where we're seeing some of the colder temperatures as well from 24 hours ago. So Milford 16 degrees colder, much of eastern Nevada, 11 degrees colder in Logan than this time yesterday, and we're still colder along Wasatch Front, expecting about 35 today for Salt Lake versus 39's average. St. George about 52. Cold air. Here's a look at just how cold it is east of the Rockies. So we're getting sheltered a little bit, which is a natural barrier, the Rocky Mountains, the northern Rockies, I should say, from temperatures really plummeting. You can see the cold air in Minneapolis, -1 Rapid City, Chicago -4. And then here in Salt Lake, we're in the 20s, 24 right now. Boise's just 16, Missoula 11. We're going to tug down some of that air into our area tonight. So let's see, I just hit the space bar. But yeah, that was a great shot. Came in this morning. Oh, let's see, that's from Payson. I had a sundog from this morning up near Kimball Junction. Is this one it? I think so. Nope. All right, I got some old photos linked up in here. We're going to have cold temperatures tomorrow morning. We're going to have winds to deal with, or a little bit of wind, which anytime we're talking about some of the coldest temperatures of the season, add a little bit of wind, it just makes it a little bit more unbearable. So far, Salt Lake City this winter, we've had an overnight low of 22 has been the coldest. We've hit 24 this morning, which is where we're at now. We're forecasting about 20 tonight, so it'll be the coldest. And then we do have teens, single digits across much of northern Utah. This graphic's being really slow. I apologize. There it goes. So we could be coldest so far this season tomorrow morning with an overnight low of about 20. So really it's the cold air that we're dealing with, not a lot of moisture. Although on the bright side, I know that Eagle Point Resort east of Beaver was reporting 10 inches of snow. Bryan had 4 in 24 hours. Northern resorts didn't show any. But here's the cold air tonight. So 20 Ogden, 16 in Provo, 6 in Park City, Temperatures this cold, yeah, just take care of our pets. Try not to leave them outside tonight. Check in on your loved ones. Make sure everyone's going to stay warm tonight with it being as cold as it's going to be. And that's after highs today are expected to stay below average. In addition to that, so we're just mid 30s for much of northern Utah, struggling to hit 40 in Delta, Milford, 35 in Cedar, not quite 50 Bullfrog, Kanab, but low 50s, maybe 51, 52 for St. George. And outside of that, what else was I going to show? I had, look at the ski forecast. So those that are already up on the slopes, it's frigid cold. We've got 12 degrees as you're heading out at 10, and then we're just 20 into the afternoon, so staying well below freezing. And so it's that cold air that's moving in from the north. It's actually going to help mix out our valley inversions. So we get the temperature inversions this time of year where cold air traps in the valleys and then warmer air from the ridge moves in on top of it. With the colder air moving in at the higher elevations, it should allow for the air to mix out, and so that will help scour out some of the pollution. So before the ridge builds back in early next week. So even though, did I show air quality? I did not. I had that graphic ready. So even though we're still going to see some haze, it's really not going to be too terrible by tomorrow. In fact, our AirView network has been showing mainly moderate, if not good, readings across northern Utah for this morning, and so we'll continue to see some of that. So you can still definitely see that layer that's there, especially from the cameras that are above the inversion. Winds. So as the storm, let me put Futurecast in motion. As the storm clears out, I was like, I know we have more to talk about. Storm clears out, we get kind of a strong northerly pull, which is bringing in the cold air. With this pattern, we tend to see stronger winds across southern Utah, especially near the mouths of the canyons. No wind advisories issued yet for southern Utah. I would be surprised if one gets issued, but going to get some stronger. There's some of the wind component. You can see it there with Futurecast as the storm clears out of southern Utah. And so we could see some stronger wind gusts, possibly 40, maybe even 50 miles an hour over some of the higher elevations. Let me find my wind gust graphic. I know I have it in here. So lower Washington County, a lot of southern Utah, just plan on some stronger winds. Here it is, picking up throughout the afternoon and evening. So in fact, models showing even for areas like Cedar, we'll see some gusty winds. Bryce, central Utah getting in on at least some of the gustier winds into the afternoon and evening as the storm pushes out. As it pushes east, things are much quieter overnight, but pick back up again across eastern Utah tomorrow afternoon as another weak system grazes northern Utah, at least northeastern Utah. So a little bit gusty over the next couple of days. Otherwise, it's quiet. So no snow to really track. A weak system, maybe Thursday, as far as having any impact. We have a few sneaker storms that kind of move up and around the ridge. Those could help or should help keep some of our air quality from getting too poor into next week before we get mixed out, hopefully again next Thursday. But southern Utah, more of the same. Some clouds this morning. We've had a little bit of light precipitation, but 51 tomorrow, and then we're climbing to the mid to upper 50s throughout the rest of this next week. Partly cloudy, breezy Thursday. Friday, 58, and then by the time we get to northern Utah, we're looking at mid-30s to upper 30s today, tomorrow, back in the 40s next week. So we'll have some hazy skies, partly cloudy Tuesday, and then a slight chance of rain snow on Thursday. And then we're just looking at, more quiet weather. So what a crummy January so far for snow. Hopefully February will look a little better. Right now, I'm not seeing much, at least 8 to 14 days out. So fingers crossed. All right. Have a great weekend.